Coming up next, hey, leaders, pay attention. I'm going to give you 2 questions that if you answer these for people, it's going to make you a better leader. And what do employees want more than money? And your calls, and it starts right now. All right, here we go. Coming to you live from our Ramsey Solutions studios in Nashville. This is the Ken Coleman Show. And we're having a conversation about you, specifically who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how to get there. It is about your purpose. You were created to fill a unique role in your work. That means that you are needed, tremendously valuable, but it also means that you must do it. This isn't a show to make you feel good. This is a show to help you do good. In fact, the good that somebody out there in the world needs from you. So there's a responsibility here. This isn't a motivational, I just want to make people feel good. Now, let me tell you this. When you do what you were created to do and you do it well, you're going to feel great. It is that significance that brings success and satisfaction, not the other way around. 844-747-2577 is the number to jump in. It is a caller-driven show. 844-747-2577. But before we get to the phones, leaders, those of you who aspire to lead, those of you who are new leaders, I'm going to make leadership so much simpler for you. Because I'm going to tell you something. Leadership is actually simple, but it's really difficult. Am I confused today? No, I'm not. The idea of leading people is not a complex proposition. It's simple, but it will always be difficult because of people. People make leadership difficult. And so why am I talking about leadership to start the show? Because for those of you who are in the process of getting promoted, which is stage 5 of my 7 stages to the work you were born to do. Stage 5 is get promoted. You get clear, stage 1, get qualified, stage 2, get connected, stage 3, get started, stage 4, get promoted, stage 5. So there are many, many positions where you could get promoted and you may not be leading people. But most of the time, when you are getting promoted, you will be promoted into some type of management or leadership position. So therefore, I'm going to talk about leadership a good bit on the show to help those of you who are stepping up. I want you to step up well, and I want you to win. Because leadership to many people is terrifying. Terrifying. It doesn't have to be. Here are 2 simple questions that if you ask and get answers to, you're going to be an effective leader. Period. Are we ready? 2 simple questions. The first question is, how are you doing? How are you doing? This is to the people you're leading. How are you doing? Could be as simple as walking by their cube, their desk, and just looking at them and going, hey, everything going well? You doing good? How are things going? How are the kids? How's it going? How are you doing? This is a personal connection, not a conversation starter. It's not, how you doing? And then you don't care. It's, hey, checking in on you. How are things going? Deeper level. Well, Ken, I don't want to get in anybody's business. Again, they will decide what they will share with you. So you're not invading their privacy. It's called being a human. And just because you're a leader doesn't mean you can't be a human anymore. In fact, that's the problem with a lot of leaders. They stop being humans. You go, well, I can't talk to my team. I can't talk to my people. I got to be this, know-it-all and descend from down up on high and kind of just lead people. That's garbage. So the number one question that you as a leader have got to ask to be effective is, how are you doing? Check on them. It doesn't always have to be personal. They may give you some personal details, then love on them. But they're probably going to give you some details about their job. And that's what we're going for here. How are you doing? How are things going? How are you feeling? That leads to the second question. How can I help you do your job better? How can I help you do your job? Most leaders don't ask those 2 questions on a regular basis. By the way, Those questions need to be asked together on a consistent basis. Get a weekly rhythm. Pop in every once in a while outside of the weekly rhythm. How are you doing? How can I help you? How are you doing? How can I help you? By the way, some people at first are going to be like, "Oh, what's going on here? Are you digging?" No. I just want to know if you're doing all right. Here's what happens with those two questions. And the HR data, by the way, backs me up. This isn't my opinion. When you ask those two questions, how are you doing? How can I help you do your job? Here's what happens. First, they feel tremendous value because you see them, you hear them. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard. You care about me because you see me and you hear me. Oh my goodness. Tremendous value is transferred. That's huge because that means they'll stay longer. They'll develop more trust with you. Value. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to know that they are valued. That's the first thing it does. The second thing it does is they actually trust you, as I mentioned just a moment ago. They feel value, then they trust you, which means when they trust you, they're going to communicate more to you, be vulnerable, transparent with you, which allows you to actually be a better leader. But how in the world, leaders, are you going to help your people do a better job if you don't know how they're doing in their personal and professional life, and then what they actually need help with? And so all of this creates value for them, trust in you, and then ultimately terrific communication. So stop overthinking leadership. If you don't know anything about leadership, great. No big deal. Those two questions, regular basis, going to make you a fabulous leader. How you doing? How can I help you do your job? 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. All right, let's go to James. Oh, this looks like an interesting question. In San Diego, California. James, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How you doing?
I'm living the dream, James. What's going on?
Oh, same here. So long story short, about 40, mid-40s, 41 years old, and keep getting into careers where I get to the point where it's like your own level of incompetency and I can't move any further, and it creates a lot of stress. And so basically, long story short, I was in the tech industry for about 15 years, went back, got my master's degree in education, and I feel like I made a huge mistake because I hate it because of the level of detail and how sort of detail-oriented it is.
Oh.
So trying to figure out, what career to go into that's not as, anti-ADD as I am, and find something as a good career switch that, maybe more working with my hands or something like that.
There we go. Now we got some really good clues. So you've got talent in the area of the tech space because of the way your brain works, I'm guessing. I'm guessing you're a problem solver, pretty good problem solver?
I can be okay. Problem is, though, too, it's one of those careers that, out of college, I just sort of fell into.
No, I'm not. No. Hey. I'm in charge of the show. It's the Ken Coleman Show, not the James Show. So you're going down the wrong path here. I want to know, are you a good problem solver?
I like to think so.
What kind of problems are you good at solving?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not true. What kind of problems are you good at solving? You know this. You've got a track record. How old are you, James?
How old? 42.
You're 42. My goodness.
42.
What kind of problems are you good at solving? Let me give you
problem.
There we go. Now we're opening James up. You're not thinking anymore. Stop thinking, James, and start feeling your answers. You feel me?
Yep.
All right. You're good at solving people problems. What kind of people problems? Be specific.
If I had to say, I would say
you do.
Conflict resolution I'm pretty good at.
Conflict resolution. Interesting. Okay. And how do you know you're good at that? And I'm not asking you to bring James's head back into the equation and doubt. Mm-hmm. I want you to answer that from your heart with confidence. How do you know you're good at conflict resolution? What's the evidence in your life?
aside from work, it's everybody, all my friends and family, I'm always the one that they go to for, any sort of interpersonal advice.
Interesting. And I want you to, in your mind, James, right now, I want you to pull up the last time you were in an advisor type role, okay? With friends or family, you were taking on the role of advisor, counselor. You got that picture in your mind?
I do.
How'd it turn out?
Well,
Huh?
I mean, it usually turns out well.
I know, but how did it turn out? That you gave them
It turned
advice,
out well.
and they looked at you,
was,
and what'd they say to you when you were done dispensing this advice?
well, there's always a little bit of hesitancy, but at the end, they are always thankful.
They're very thankful. And they walked away thankful because you helped them, yes?
Correct.
All right, now here's the $1 million question. How'd you feel in those moments, days, whatever, afterwards?
Of course, I felt good.
Yeah. So now that we've gone down this path, James, and I think I've got your brain turned off, and I think I got your heart totally firing, what would you do tomorrow, James, if you knew your ADHD wasn't going to limit you? That's an excuse. I have ADHD, big freaking deal. And you knew you couldn't fail. You'd love it. You knew you couldn't fail. And it would just set your heart on fire every day. What would you do if you knew that those two things were true? What would you do? What would you try?
And I thought about that, and I don't know because,
That's not
like
true.
you mentioned,
That's not true.
I think my brain gets in the way.
I know. So what I'm saying is, I'm going to ask this question one more time. This is not the first time I've done this, James, and it only works if you tell the truth. So I'm going to say it again. And when I asked you a moment ago, I promise you, James, you had some ideas that just kind of went up on your brain, the top of your brain, just like a big giant screen in Times Square. Might have been 2 ideas, might have been 3. I'm going to ask it again, and this time I want you to blurt it out and let me figure out if it's legit or not. Do you agree to do this, James?
I agree.
All right, here we go. James, what would you do tomorrow if you knew you could not fail? If you knew that you would love it and you didn't even have to commit the rest of your life to it, it'd be a big, fun adventure. James, tell us what just flashed in your head while I was saying that.
I would do something outdoors as far as like starting my own business because I don't like following other people's rules.
All right. And so you'd probably work with your hands too, correct?
Correct.
Because that's what you said earlier. So I don't know where this advice thing is coming in because you took me down a path on how you love giving advice. So I'm a little surprised by your answer. Not completely, because you did mention that you love working with your hands. And your whole question was, Ken, how do I figure out what I'm supposed to do? What you're supposed to do is use what you do best, your talent. You know this. To perform your passion, that's work you love to do. So you love working with your hands. You also love giving people advice. So I don't know if we don't combine those two. I don't know if we don't take an outdoor kind of work with your hands, entrepreneurial venture where you work for yourself and it has a little bit of instruction, advice in it. Maybe it's a combo. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, it could work. I just need ideas of what to, where to put my energy.
The ideas will take care of themselves when you actually stop doubting yourself. You started this phone call wearing a gigantic, heavy robe of doubt. It was all over you. True or false?
Correct.
Well, that's the problem. That's what I've been trying to shut down. I've been trying to kind of smack you in the face a little bit. I'm on your team. I'm your friend. But you're so full of doubt that you're not listening to your heart because your brain is just swatting everything your heart filters up to it like flies. It's like you're playing the old video game. Joe, you remember Asteroids? Where it was just these blobs that would come down the screen. James, every idea that his heart throws up to him, Joe, he's just blowing it up. And you're laughing in the background, James, because I'm right, aren't I?
Well, because it's true, yeah.
I know it's true. How do I know this about you, James? We just met a few minutes ago.
You probably run into this all the time.
Right. So here's the point. I still think you have some really good ideas about what you want to do, but you don't think you can do it. And if you would just admit that, hey, I have this idea and I got to figure out, do I have the talent to pull it off? Do I love the work enough to stay with it, do it on the side until I build it up? Mm-hmm. Does it create a result, the missional result, my primary mission with work? Does it produce that? I think you actually do have ideas, and I think you're still not willing to share them with me. So here's what I'm willing to do. You need to take this call, and you need to go back and do some homework. You need to get quiet. You need to throw some real ideas out on paper, and you need to go back and go, do I have the talent to pull this off? Do I have a passion for this kind of work? Do I love this kind of work? And does this work create results that if I knew I was producing that every day, working for myself, I'd feel like I was one of the happiest men in the world? You need to spend some time alone with that. And I'm willing to take a second call with you, but you have got to do this. You have the ideas, and you just got to sit with them. But I'm telling you, brother, if it's an entrepreneurial thing, that's great. But there's something about giving advice that you love. You can't ignore that.
Okay.
And I think you doubt that so much that you actually went with the hands thing and working outside and all that stuff. But I think that if you can find a way to combine those two, working for yourself, working outside, and some type of advice or counsel, then maybe you could. Maybe taking people on hunting trips. Maybe people taking on canoe rides. I don't know. But you focus so much on the advice counselor giving, you will not be happy in your work, James, until you have some of that in your life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And I think you're full of doubt, and I think you gave me the easy answer because you're good at working with your hands. You like working outside. I'm calling. I think you're still scared. Play with this a little bit more. Amanda, let's set him up. I'm willing to take another call with him 30 days from now, only if he's done his homework on what I just told him to do. You got me, James?
I got you.
All right, brother. All right, folks. I'm feisty today. I'm feeling feisty because here's what I know. Fear, doubt, and pride are the enemies that I'm fighting against. That's why, hey, Nathan, let's give them a shot. There's a reason why I got some boxing gloves on the shelf behind me. That's not just because I'm a boxing fan and because I loved Sugar Ray Leonard growing up, because that's who signed those gloves, in case anybody cares. All the middle-aged people know who Sugar Ray Leonard is. Everybody like in their 30s is like, Sugar who? They think he's like, Sugar Ray is like, they think it's a band or whatever, whoever that guy is. Mark McGrath or whoever that clown is. Sugar Ray. So see, Madison, my producer, didn't even know. That's how young she is. She's fabulous, but I'm so much older, it's ridiculous. But the reason those boxing gloves are on the shelf behind me, and we talked about this. You remember Joe and Madison? We talked about this from day one. I said, I want those boxing gloves on there because I want it to remind me when I walk in the door over here to my left every day, and my eyes immediately go to that shelf. And those boxing gloves are to remind me that I'm in a fight. I'm in a fight against fear and doubt and pride. Personally, as I seek to fulfill my purpose, and also for you. I'm fired up more than ever. So call me. I'll take your fear. I'll expose it, and I'm going to punch it and beat it up so that you can be who you were created to be. Let's go to Jesse in Stockton, California now. Jesse, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
Jesse, you bet. What's up?
Hey, so I'm currently in a situation where, so in the area, there's a highly desired employer that's going to be taking applications soon and taking some jobs. And so I'm really interested, and I know it's a situation where it's a really desirable company that a lot of people want to, it's competitive.
Yep.
And so my question is, how do I handle, I want to put in the top application, I want it to be noticed and I want everything to be right. But where I'm at right now, I'm not quite sure if I can find a good reference. And it's not that I don't do a good job. It's just that where I'm at now, I feel like the word gets out really easy.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is, Ken, how do I put the best foot forward from a reference standpoint without word getting out in my current employer that I'm looking? Well, then the answer to that is, let me ask you a question instead of telling you. So do you think you can use any references from your current company without it getting out?
It's hard to say. I've been there for 2 years. And I've kind of seen that.
Is there anybody there that you can trust to give you a reference? Do you believe you can trust anybody? It's okay if the answer is no. That's why you called me.
Yeah.
We just have to be
Right,
really
right.
clear. Do you think there's anybody at your current company that you could trust to give you a strong reference and not tell anybody? If the answer is no, it's no, or it's yes. It's not, I don't know. It's yes or no.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
There is someone that I'm kind of leaning towards that I could.
Okay, my
And
point is
so-
this. My point is, Jesse, don't go get references from other places. Don't take a chance. You either know
Okay.
that you know you can
Yeah.
trust that person, or you can't. And if you can't trust them, I'm telling you, don't tell them. So then what do we do? What do I teach? Well, as a reminder to our audience, what I teach is it is about relevant references at the top of our resume template. We lead with who I know. That's literally a heading that we tell people to use. Our resume looks different than any other resume in the world because I know what employers care most about. They want to know, can you help them win? I like to hit them right in the face as soon as they look at your resume. Boom, first thing they see. Who I know? I've never seen a resume like that. All right, let's read it. I'm in. And it needs to be a relevant reference. So it doesn't have to be somebody from your company, but is there somebody that's in the same industry that you're in or the same industry as this new company that you want to get employed with? Or is there somebody that you know that works for that company somewhere else in the country and they're an insider and you've got some relationship? There's multiple ways to get relevant references. And so don't put anybody on there from your company if you're worried about it getting out. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
But I love the
Yeah,
question.
that makes me feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, listen, man, trust your gut. If your gut still feels uneasy about anybody in your current company, don't do it.
Okay.
Don't run the risk, man. All right?
Yeah.
All right, you got this.
Alrighty.
Get after it. Do you have a copy of my book, The Proximity Principle?
I don't, Ken.
Yeah, I don't know why. My feelings are hurt.
I don't.
My feelings are hurt, but I'm going to get over it. I'm kidding with you. Hey, hang on the line. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a copy of my #1 best-selling book, The Proximity Principle, which is all about opportunity. How do you get opportunities? How do you get people coming to you knocking on your door? Does that sound good to you, Jesse? If I could tell you how to do
it
that?
does.
Okay, so I've wrote a best-selling book on it. I want you to read the whole book, but I want you to really focus on the chapter on the web of connections, which is in the 3rd section of the book, practices. Read the whole book, okay? It's very practical. You can crush it very quickly, but I want you to focus on that chapter because that's where you are right now. You need to look at your web of connections and go, who do I know that knows somebody that's a really relevant reference? You understand what I'm saying? So hang on the line.
Yeah.
Amanda's going to get you a copy, whatever format you want, ebook, audio, or hard copy. By the way, for the rest of you who I'm not going to give the book to, I'm practically giving it away. It's $25 for all 3 of those formats. One price. KenColeman.com store. There you go. All right, quick break. When we come back, straight out of the news, what do employees want more than money? Not really surprising. Stay tuned. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show, where we help you discover what you were created to do and then come up with a plan to make that dream a reality. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching with me, this is a premium. Don't get freaked out, but it's worth every nickel because I'm actually discounting it on what I would do privately. But through our program here, what we're developing more and more resources for career coaches who will coach you with great credibility because of their own training, but they'll use our methodology. But if you'd like to coach me to coach you one-on-one, You can get 3 sessions with me for $2,400. That's a 50% discount. It's $800 a session. Let me be very clear. So if you got to save up for it, fine. But I'm going to give you 3 one-hour sessions with me. Go to kencoleman.com/coaching, kencoleman.com/coaching, and you can book your first appointment there. We're having a blast. Did 2 sessions yesterday, and it's a deep dive, folks. And I guarantee you're going to get where you want to go. And it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it thoroughly. Imagine what I can do for you in an hour and what I do in 6 to 7 minutes sometimes with folks. So there you go. 844-747-2577. It's time for In the News. All right, folks, this is for everybody, but I want leaders to pay attention because when I reveal this latest data, latest headline, I'm going to teach you leaders on what you need to do with this because this is in your face. You're going to have to deal with it. Here's the headline. Employees don't want more money. They want less stress. This is from benefitnews.com. New study out by Lincoln Financial Group, a very well-respected group, and they did a study, and here's what they found. Since the start of the pandemic, so this is probably, you're looking at March-ish of 2020, 64% of full-time employed adults would choose a company with less stress in the environment than a 10% higher salary. I'm going to say that again, is that is substantial. 2/3, essentially, of American workers would say, I would rather have a less stressful work environment than a 10% bump in pay. I just want that to sit for a second. Now, some people are hearing that and they're going, those people are nuts. I'll take the 10% and more stress. I mean, some people think that. I don't think you take that for very long because you know what wears off? After the 10% bump, let me tell you why this is not surprising. Anybody that gets a bump, but there's in a very stressful environment, for a couple weeks, that feels pretty good. Oh, I feel good about myself. I just got myself a bump. Shoulders go back a little bit. Start telling people, hey, I got 10% bump. Call my mom. But that wears off because that 10% bump gets taxed. So it's not really 10%. And then the feelings wear off. And those feelings of stature, a little extra jingle in my pocket, goes away. Because we are soulful people. We have souls. We have a spirit. And that spirit longs to be whole, to be healthy. And stress and stress and stress and stress and stress and stress covers up the heart. You can't feel the heart anymore. And then people start turning into mummies, and that's why burnout happens. Come on, Ken. That's right. I'm right. You know I'm right. I'm not saying anything revolutionary here. And the data is saying it. So it's not surprising. People would say, you know what? It's not the bump in pay. I want a healthier life. I want to feel my heart again. I want to sit at the dinner table at night without a bunch of stress and see my kids. Some of you are so numb with stress when your little sweet pie comes up to you and says, Daddy or Mommy, I love you and I want to color with you. You can't even feel it anymore. Your heart can't even react because your brain is so overloaded and so loud. Can't feel your heart going. That's my little girl. That's my little boy. It's reality. All right. So, leaders, what's the situation? Now, a lot of this is coming from the fact that people are working from home. And so they got a lot more of that personal heart stuff floating around them all day. That's part of this. But the other part of it is poor management. Leaders, what's going on here? You can't keep piling it on people and just keep saying, hey, this is how it is. Sorry, the pandemic. It is what it is. You can't keep piling it on top of people. So what do? I think this is about communication. To me, when I hear data like this, 64% of people say, well, they want less stress. What's causing the stress? I think it is poor leadership, specifically poor communication. People will work harder, longer. They'll put in some longer hours for a season if you communicate properly to them. But you got to communicate and know where these people are. I led off the show with this. 2 questions that'll make you a more effective leader, that will create an environment with less stressed out people. How you doing? How can I help you do your job better? How you doing? I'm stressed out of my mind, boss. Why? How can I help you do this better with less stress? Leaders, you're not doing this. You know why? You're stressed out because your leader's not doing it. It's time for the madness to stop. Let's get off the hamster wheel, please. Here's how you do it. You have got to ask those questions that I talked about at the beginning of the show. How you doing? How can I help you do your job? If you're in a season where people are pressed, you go, Ken, I don't have a choice. I got less employees right now. Everybody's got to pull a little harder. Okay, let me tell you how to address that. Hey, here's what we're doing. Here's what we have to do. Here's what we believe is best for the company and for you long term. Tell them the what. Give them some real details on the what. What we believe, what we must do, what our current situation dictates to us. If they don't know what's driving all of this, it's a vacuum in their mind. And you look like the out-of-touch leader because you are out of touch. Then tell them the why. This is the what, and this is the why. And then tell them how this is going to affect us long term. What, why, how? Answer those questions for them. What are we doing? Is this like intentional? Why are we doing it? Okay, all right. And then how's that going to affect how we operate? This is how this is going. See, this is how we're going to act as a result of the what and the why. Simple, basic questions, answer them. And people go, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. When you do this, leaders, there's more communication, more clarity, and people are less stressed. What's driving the stress? The unknowns. How long am I going to have to work like this? How long are we going to have to pull double duty? I get it, leaders. It's tough. But people will stay in the foxhole with you. They'll ration their water, their food. They'll fight harder if they know the what, the why, and the how. Throw the where in there too. Figure it out yourself. Figure it out with your leader. Say, hey, I need this so I can help my team. Don't overcomplicate this. Folks, they're going to leave you. They're going to leave you, leaders. They can't keep the stress up. You are a part of their stress. It's not all on you, but it's a big part of at least finding out where their stress is coming from. Can we at least say amen to that? Leaders, you got stressed out people. That's your problem. Find out why they're stressed, where they're stressed, how they're stressed. What can you do about that? You're going to lose people. And the great environments, the great leaders are going to get the best talent. End of story. It's a leadership edge, by the way, if you can constantly be in tune with your people. 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's do one more call here. Let's go to Lawton, Oklahoma. Dylan joins us there. Dylan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, how you doing, Ken?
Dylan, I'm living the dream. What are you doing?
Well, let me set the stage for it. It'll probably be a little bit easier that way.
Great.
So basically, I work around the nation. I travel state to state.
Mm-hmm.
I supervise substations and transmission line builds. So I am getting a lot of pressure from my fiance that I need to stay home and find a different kind of job. However, due to the circumstances, I'm not really qualified for anything that doesn't really travel. So I'm just trying to get your opinion on what I should probably do.
What are you stuck on? When you say you don't have ideas, where are you stuck? I think I want to focus on that first. The relationship piece is also an issue. It's why I paused for a moment. But let's figure out where you're getting hung up. Tell me why you're getting hung up.
So in this job, we work about 80 hours a week constantly. And I do foresee having a different job a little bit easier because I would have more of a personal life.
Sure.
I don't have any problems relationship-wise. We get off every 4 weeks, and I get to go see her for 1 week. So it's
Right.
not like we don't really get to see each other very often either. But the idea is behind it. Like I said, I'm not really qualified for anything else, and everything that I do want to do is going to require either education or more money to do it.
Okay.
And I'm also in the Dave Ramsey aspect. I'm trying to get completely out of debt, which I'm only about $10,000 away. So
Okay, but what
that's
if I
kind of where I'm stuck at right now.
Okay, I wanted a little bit more of your psychology here, because I think I get this question a lot, and I love it because I got a lot of Ramsey Show listeners. In fact, I'm hosting 3 hours with Dave today. So, I mean, Dave and I work hand in hand. This whole idea of work and money, they're inseparable. So where you are is you think you can't get qualified for the things you want to do because you're in debt. But what if I told you you can? Hello?
How would you expect that? So
Hold on.
the idea
hold
that
on.
I would
hold on.
love to do.
Hold on. I'll get to that. But what if I told you that you can get qualified while still paying off debt? Would you do it? Would you go, oh, I'm in?
Of course.
Would you be confident?
I would jump wholeheartedly on it.
Okay, so let's assume that for a moment. Okay? And I'll figure that out for you in just a second. Well, let's just assume that you don't have to work 80 hours a week and you can have a relationship with your fiance and just spend more time. Or when you get married, you can not be on the road all the time and you can still get qualified to do what you want to do. Let's just assume that. So what would you want to do? Let's assume that hurdle wasn't there. What would you be wanting to pursue?
The first one, I would probably go get or finish up my mechanical degree.
Why?
However, I feel that it would be easier. I can find a job where I want to be, and then we can decide that if she wants to go somewhere else, I can follow her as well.
Okay, so what would you pursue? What would you pursue professionally if you had no hurdles right now?
To be a pilot.
A pilot?
Honestly.
Oh,
Yep.
that explains everything to me. Joe, how many times have we had this phone call?
A bunch.
You know, being a pilot's expensive. That's the problem. You've got this massive number in your head. What's the latest number or the most educated number you have at this point, not holding you to it, on what it would cost to become a pilot?
$85,000.
$85,000. Is that commercial or is that flying privately?
It's helicopter.
Helicopter. Okay. And so how's that program? And you're absolutely sure there's no cheaper way to do it than $85,000?
If you get scholarships, of course, and if you get some really far rinky-dink place. However, if you do that, you're not really guaranteed to get a job.
Why? What if I go to a rinky-dink place? For how long would it take to get that certification, the helicopter stuff?
In most cases, it takes about a year.
Okay.
It takes 150 hours.
Okay. So what if you guys lived on next to nothing in a rinky-dink place? I'm not saying this is the best option. I just want to open your mind. What if you went to some small place, you guys are living on love, and you cash flowing your way through this, and you get the 150 hours, and you got the certification, then you move somewhere else into maybe a better day job while you're trying to get the helicopter opportunity in a much bigger area. Isn't that possible?
It's possible.
Okay.
It just requires a lot of travel as well. Usually the start off is mechanics, and they send you out to way parts of
and it's good. But you're talking to a guy right now. You just called a guy who had 3 kids and he was self-employed and took 7 years to get into the dream gig. That's who you're talking to right now. So I'm trying to help you see there's a way, and I want you to get out of debt. And this is a situation where you're probably going to have to get out of debt first and then begin to cash flow the helicopter stuff. So it's going to delay the dream a little bit. But I can tell you, as a guy who got there 7 years later, it's worth it. Then I paid my dues for 3 more years here. So you're talking to a guy who took 10 years to get there incrementally. There's no quick answer to the pilot stuff. But I don't want you to die to that dream because you go, gosh, it's going to take a while. It's going to cost a lot. Because I think you're going to be a miserable old man if you don't go after this. Are you tracking with me? You agree or disagree with me?
I completely agree.
So I wish I had a 3-year plan for you that cost $25,000. Wish I had a 5-year plan that costs $50. Sounds like we've got a multi-year plan. Maybe it's 5. Maybe you can do it in 5. Maybe you can do it in 4. I don't know. When do you expect to pay your debt off? What's your payoff date?
I actually have the money to pay it off completely right now.
Okay.
I'm just
Whoa.
saving for the wedding.
Whoa. How much debt do you have?
I have $23,000.
And how much do you have in the bank?
I have $30,000.
How much is the wedding going to cost?
It kind of keeps going up. It's still a year out, and where we're sitting at right now is about $15,000.
Why are you paying for your wedding? Where's her dad at in this equation?
My dad's in a lot worse situation than I am.
I didn't say you. Hold on. And listen, I'm just having some fun with this for a second. All right? We got some people in the lobby that are enjoying this part, so I'm having some fun with this. Traditionally, unless I'm missing something, Nathan, you're the youngest guy in there that's married. Traditionally, the daughter, the wife, her family helps with the wedding. Am I right? Traditionally? Is this true, Dylan?
It is.
Well, how much are they contributing to the $15,000?
They've actually contributed quite more. $15,000 is pretty much my half.
Oh, dude, stop this right now. Stop it now. This is ridiculous. Let me tell you what I think you need to do, and you can ignore me if you like. I think it's ridiculous that your half of the wedding is $15,000. That's ridiculous. My wife and I, Stacy, we got married on a budget. Her mom and dad contributed what they could contribute, and my parents paid for whatever the dinner is the night before. What do you call that? The rehearsal dinner? Dude, we got married on a budget, man. You need to get married on way less. If 15 is your half, I got news for you. You are blowing your money. I would pay off the $23,000 today. That leaves you $7,000. That gets you started on your baby step 3 to 6 months expenses, and you start saving towards the helicopter thing. And you tell the wife to be, hey baby, I'm not paying for anything because I'm going to provide for you, and we're going to be off to a great start in our marriage, debt free. At least your part. You could fast forward this entire plan we talked about if you pay that debt off today.
Cool.
Yeah, I know, dude. I just made your life very uncomfortable, didn't I?
It's a lot to talk about. Definitely, if I decided if I want to show them or not.
Hey, bro. How long do you want to fast forward the dream or not?
I do.
Do you want to be debt free or not?
I do.
Then pay the debt off. You got a year for the wedding. In my mind, if you really want to contribute $15,000, you can still save up $15,000 between now and the wedding. But you're debt free. So I'm not telling you not to contribute. I wouldn't personally pay for my own wedding, $15,000. That's nuts. To me, it's nuts. But that's just me. I'm old school. I'd find a little teeny church. I'd spend the money on the dress. Great memories. I could do it, the whole thing for less than $15,000. I'm not even a wedding planner, Nathan, but I figure I could come up with a good wedding for $15,000. Some people are going, you're nuts, Ken. Well, maybe I am. Here's my point. Pay off the debt today and then save up the money on your own. But you need to be cash flowing this dream, dude. Joe, get me out of here before I go on a rant. My time is almost up. Before I let you go, you matter. You do have what it takes. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.